Aston Martin is a team that has been eagerly awaited by fans and experts alike. However, the team's recent performance has been less than stellar, with Fernando Alonso's fastest time in FP2 at the Australian Grand Prix being thwarted by rain. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the challenges that Aston Martin is facing, including their struggles with wet weather conditions and their need to find ways to compete with the top teams in the championship. So sit back, relax, and get ready for another exciting video of Formula 1 coverage. After a glittering career in which he claimed 53 Grand Prix victories and 4 World Championships, Vettel retired at the end of last year and was replaced by Alonso, who joined Aston Martin after 2 seasons at Alpine. Having been accused of making poor career choices since his last title triumph in 2006, Alonso seems to have timed his latest move to perfection, having started the 2023 campaign with consecutive podium finishes in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Aston Martin has been one of the most talked about teams in the Formula 1 World Championship this year, thanks in large part to the arrival of 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. However, the team has struggled to compete with the top teams in the championship, with their recent performance at the Australian Grand Prix being a case in point. During the second practice session, FP2, at the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne, Fernando Alonso set the fastest time of the day, giving Aston Martin fans hope that the team might finally be finding their stride. However, the rain soon came down and Alonso's time was not beaten. This was a huge blow for the team, as it meant that they were unable to build on their early momentum and gain an advantage over their rivals. One of the key challenges that Aston Martin is facing is their inability to compete in wet weather conditions. Wet weather can dramatically alter the track conditions and affect the performance of the other cars. In such conditions, the teams that have a setup that can handle the wet weather condition usually have an advantage. Unfortunately, Aston Martin has yet to find a setup that works well in wet conditions, which has made it difficult for them to compete with their rivals. First practice for the 2023 Australian Grand Prix saw Verstappen set the pace in front of Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez under cloudy skies in Melbourne. But the opening session was also stopped by a red flag triggered by a lack of GPS before Logan Sargent's Williams came to a halt and brought out the second stoppage of that hour. After 20 minutes of FP2, Alonso was on top of the timesheets with a lap of 1 minute and 18.887 seconds. Leclerc was 0.445 seconds back in P2 and Verstappen was 0.615 seconds off Alonso in P3. Carlos Sainz, P5 and Leclerc broke the silence, every driver back in the pits due to the rain, with some sliding runs on softs, but they confirmed that the track was too wet for slick running. Another issue for the team is the need to find ways to compete with the top teams in the championship. Aston Martin is a relatively new team in the championship, having only rebranded from Racing Point in 2021. This means that they're still building their team and infrastructure, and they need to find ways to catch up with the top teams that have been in the sport for years. To make matters worse, Aston Martin is also facing stiff competition from other teams that are also looking to break into the top tier of the championship. McLaren, for example, has been performing exceptionally well this season, and they're currently ahead of Aston Martin in the championship standings. This means that Aston Martin needs to find ways to improve their performance quickly if they want to catch up and compete at the highest level. So what can Aston Martin do to overcome these challenges and find success in the championship? One solution is to focus on finding a setup that works well in wet conditions. Wet weather is part of the sport, and teams that can handle it well often have an advantage over their rivals. Aston Martin needs to work on their wet weather setup if they want to be able to compete with the top teams in all conditions. Another solution is to continue building their team and infrastructure. Aston Martin is still a new team in the championship, and they need to continue investing in their team and their technology to catch up with the top teams. They need to focus on developing new technologies, hiring the best engineers and drivers, and building a strong culture of excellence within the team. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now let's get back to our topic. In conclusion, Aston Martin is facing significant challenges in the Formula 1 World Championship, with their struggles in wet weather conditions being a particular concern. The team needs to find a way to improve their performance in all conditions if they want to compete with the top teams in the championship. However, with the right strategies and continued focus on improvement, there is no doubt that Aston Martin can find success in the world of Formula 1. It's worth noting that Aston Martin is not the only team struggling with wet weather conditions. Many other teams, including Mercedes and Red Bull, have also found it challenging to get their cars to perform at their best in the rain. However, these teams have shown the ability to quickly adapt and make changes to their cars to improve performance. It remains to be seen whether Aston Martin can do the same, and it will be interesting to see how the team's engineers and drivers respond to the challenges they're currently facing. Overall, it's clear that Aston Martin has a lot of work to do if they want to achieve success in the world of Formula 1. The team has a strong history and a talented roster of drivers, but they need to find a way to translate that into consistent on-track success. With the right focus, determination, and strategies, there is no reason why Aston Martin can't become a force to be reckoned with in the championship. We'll be eagerly watching their progress and cheering them on as they work to overcome their challenges and reach new heights in the world of Formula 1. It's also worth mentioning that the wet weather conditions can level the playing field in Formula 1, giving smaller teams a chance to shine. In the case of Aston Martin, their struggles in the rain have highlighted the importance of having a well-rounded car that can perform in all conditions. It's a reminder that success in Formula 1 is not just about having a fast car, but also about having the right strategies, tactics, and adaptability to overcome unexpected challenges. As the season progresses, it'll be interesting to see how Aston Martin responds to the challenges they're currently facing. The team has a talented roster of drivers, including the experienced Fernando Alonso and the promising young talent of Sebastian Vettel. With their skills and expertise, along with the support of their dedicated fans, there's no doubt that Aston Martin can find a way to overcome their current challenges and achieve success on the track. In conclusion, while Aston Martin may be facing a huge blow with their struggles in wet weather conditions, the team still has the potential to achieve great things in the world of Formula 1. With a continued focus on improvement and a willingness to adapt to changing conditions, there is no limit to what the team can accomplish. Lance Stroll tapped the barriers on the high-speed run to turns 9 to 10 with around 20 minutes on the clock, and the Aston Martin driver almost hit the walls out of turn 10 later in the session as he lapped on intermediate tires. He finished 16th in front of AlphaTauri's Nick de Vries. Alex Albon finished 18th, but his teammate Sargent did not complete a lap in FP2 after a suspected electrical issue halted his Williams in FP1. Between the Williams was Haas's Kevin Magnussen in P19. Third practice and qualifying are set to be dry and warm on Saturday. Join us for FP3 at 12:30 local time, and between now and then, we'll be eagerly watching their progress in the coming weeks and months, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for this talented and determined team. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment with your thoughts below. If you like this video, remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video just for you guys. Until then, take care, stay safe, and be happy, guys.